My name is Tom Wolff. I am from Tom Wolff and Associates in Amherst, Massachusetts. And I'm here to talk about creating a legacy, working to sustain the efforts that you're doing in the community, which is a complex process and many people struggle with it. So really there are two questions we ask in this process. One is, what do you need to sustain? What do you want to sustain? And the second is, how are you going to go about doing that? And the more systematic we can be, the more likely we're going to be successful. So the question of what do you need to sustain really comes into three categories. The first are the programs, the policies, the practices, the community changes and norms that you've created through the years. The second is the relationships, because when you get together, people are beginning to link to each other, and that has a big impact in the community. And so you want to sustain that too. And then the third part has to do with the role of the coalition that you put together. You're a gatherer, convener. You bring together people who wouldn't come together otherwise. And those people then go into solving problems with multiple perspectives, which wouldn't happen if you weren't around. So when you start to think about sustainability, people mainly say, I need my money and I need to keep my programs. And what we're suggesting is that there are three approaches, and you need to ask about all of these. Are they working? Don't keep it going if it's not working. So that's the first question. The second question is, how do you sustain these things? And the typical answer is money. If I had $200,000, I need to find $200,000. But in fact, what we've found, if you give four possible approaches, you have much more hope and much more likelihood to be successful. The first is to look at your programs and see, where could I institutionalize these in the community? What other agency could take this on, absorb the costs, build it into their mission, and keep delivering it? That's one. Two is getting the community to own it. And that would be to change the community norms where people start to adopt your mission and they own it. So in the US, we found that on smoking cessation. When we worked at it long enough, all of a sudden the community owned it. If you want to go into the community and start smoking, they're going to say, no way. We didn't need programs anymore. It had become a norm change. The third is policies, altering local policies, federal policies, state policies, provincial policies that will make a difference. And it can be a big capital P policy, that's a government vote, or it can be a small p policy where one of your agencies that does childcare realizes it has to be changed to closing at 6 o'clock as opposed to 5:30 because people from work can't get there in time. That's a small p policy, but with a huge impact. So we have institutionalization, we have community ownership, we have policy change, and then the last is to look at money and resources. And there we usually think about finding, if we had 200,000, the same 200,000. But in fact, we can find in-kind, where someone contributes some money, space, the money for food, and you get other kind of contributions. When you put it all together, you have a much more complex picture of how you can promote sustainability, and I urge you to start now. Go look at the PowerPoint. You'll see that if you wait, it's going to be too late. If you start now, they have a very good chance of success.